Creating a loan amortization table. When you borrow money to buy a vehicle or a home, the bank may provide you with a loan amortization table showing how much you still owe each month. In this example, we'll show you how to create your own amortization table. So let's consider a loan of $25,000 with an annual percentage rate of 6%. Our term is a total of 5 years, and we're going to make monthly payments. So we first need to determine what we call the periodic interest rate. The periodic interest rate is your annual percentage rate divided by the number of payments per year. So in this case, it would be equal to our APR, 6%, divided by the total number of payments per year. We get a 0.5% periodic interest rate. We next need to determine the total number of payments made for the life of the loan. Well, if the term is 5 years, 12 payments per year, so it'd be equal to 5 years times the number of payments per year. To determine the payment amount, we're going to use a built-in function in Excel called the payment function. So equals PMT. Our rate is the periodic interest rate. N per stands for the total number of periods, which in this case is 60. PV is your principal value, which was $25,000. And in this case, our future value is 0 since we're going to pay off the loan. Now, one thing Excel does, it thinks of this as a cash outflow, so it makes it negative. So we're going to go ahead and add a negative symbol in front of the payment amount so we can keep it positive. We need to determine the total number of payments, which we already have up here, which is 60. So we need to create that list. Now, we don't have to type in 1 through 60, right? We can use the fill handle. Select the first two values. Select the fill handle and go down to 60. And come back up. Alright. Now, this first line is very important. So we have to do this correctly. The payment before principal, and for our very first payment, that is just the amount borrowed. So equals the $25,000. Now, even though I'm saying equals $25,000, we are creating a link, right, to the original amount borrowed. Do not just type in $25,000. The interest payment. The interest payment is what we have to pay on the total outstanding principal. So in this case, it's going to be equal to our payment before principal, the $25,000, times our periodic interest rate. Now, we're going to be using this throughout this table, so we want it to stay the same, so we're going to make that value an absolute cell reference. So I'm going to hit the button F4 on my keyboard to create the absolute cell reference on cell D5, the periodic interest rate. The amount paid on principal then, right, we're going to take our payment amount, subtract off the interest payment. Equals, there's our payment amount, and again we're going to use the same payment amount throughout our table, so we're going to make that an absolute cell reference also by hitting F4 on the keyboard. Then minus our interest payment. Therefore, our principal after payment, we're going to subtract our payment before principal and how much we paid on the principal. Now, these are both going to be relative cell references since we're going to use them throughout our table. For line 2, our original payment now is going to be reduced by the amount we paid on principal, so we're just going to create a link to that cell E12. Now, these three cells we can copy straight now. Once we have our information for payment 2, we can select those cells and copy them straight down all the way through our 60 payments. Now, a quick way to do that is just double click on the fill handle with your mouse, and Excel will fill in the values all the way down through the number of payments. Notice our last value in that column, the principal after payment column, is 0, which means we've paid off the loan. This is the basics of creating a loan Amortization Table.